morning. My name is Ifeemi Andrew. Cash scarcity. This has become a problem for Nigerians in general, Rivers residents in particular. Some say you now have to buy the cash from POS operators because why? The charges have gone up, and this perhaps follows the extra charge the POS operators have to pay in the form of tax. I think it's about 50 naira for transaction, if I'm not mistaken. And this has forced them to also up the price for how much you can withdraw using a POS cash vendor. Anyways, the scarcity of cash at the moment across the country is one that has brought up plenty of concerns as Nigerians are preparing for the Yuletide. Now, that would mean that we were supposed to have easy access to cash so that Nigerians can easily, go about their business and do whatever it is they need to do and pay for services and so on and so forth. A lot of people would have to travel. A lot of people would need to use the roads. But at the moment, if you can't access cash, then there's a problem. So you'd also ask yourself the question, the person whom you want to patronize, either in the form of buying goods or paying for services, or maybe even using transport, are they very comfortable with online banking? Which brings me to my very first question to you. Which do you prefer, cash or cashless banking? At the wake of the Naira redesign, we had heard the CBN come up with policies and conversations around trying to promote online banking. And the e-Naira wallet was something that was campaigned strongly by the CBN for Nigerians to take advantage of and do their transactions using that platform. Not many people have the e-wallet. Not many people have really bought into the e-Naira thing. Not even a lot of people have looked at online banking, except for some who, thank God for fintechs, now took advantage of the situation. I want to play an excerpt from a conversation that was held with a banker in Rivers State here. This guy is the second vice chairman, Chartered Institute of Bankers of Nigeria, CIBN, Rivers State chapter, S.A. Ogene Ejogbamu. And he just gave, from his perspective, what he thinks could be or is playing a role in the situation that we have here with regards to the cash scarcity. I just like to listen to an excerpt from the interview that he had. Here is Mr. S. Ogene.
I believe there are various factors that are making cash to be in short supply at the moment. I think the most important aspect is high demand. This is a festive period and a lot of people need cash. People want to go to their villages, people want to buy things, people want to travel, and they need cash. So the demand is higher than the supply. And that is one of the reasons why we're having a cash shortage. Another reason is that of recent, there has been an increase in cash withdrawal limits. So that means people cannot take more cash. So that also, brought more pressure on the cash that is available. And if you observe for the past few months, a lot of commercial banks had some issues with their digital platforms because they were trying to upgrade to a new software or what have you. So if people cannot do online transaction, what do? They go for cash. So this further, added more pressure on cash supply.
So you heard him there trying to give some detailed explanation into why we have, the situation that we have in parts of the country, even in Rivers State. For some people, they would argue that it's not as bad as it used to be. Perhaps because we've gotten used to the situation, you really do not feel it. And many people have, turned to fintechs, whom I mean, you have to commend, are doing a great job. But do you agree with some of the reasons he has given? He also highlighted the fact that banks had to upgrade their systems, all right, and that really made the banking thing difficult and put more pressure on online banking. I mean, you know, several of the financial institutions that had these issues, and it was all over social media. You had people with videos complaining, protesting in anger as to the fact that they were not able to access their funds in their accounts. And this now put more pressure on POS operators because people now need cash. And he's saying, well, that also contributed to what we have with regards to the demand and supply. My worry is, if the demand went up, why didn't the supply increase? Is the CBN really giving enough cash to banks? Are these banks putting these monies in ATMs? You heard the things he had to say about those. I would wait for your response. I would also play you an excerpt from another conversation, an interview that was also held with ASBIFI, national deputy national president. All right, the deputy national president of ASBIFI also had spoken about this cash situation, and he had a few things to say as well with regards to the cash situation. I would come to that perhaps after the commercial, but these are some of the questions a lot of people have been asking around it. What really is happening with the ATMs? I'll tell you, I've not been to the banking hall for almost 10 years plus. And then I had to go just last month, I think about 3 weeks ago. I had to go to sort out something that came up with my account, because I tried to do a transaction online with my card, and then my account got barred, and I needed to rectify it. So I went to the banking hall. And then I understand why people are upset, because just by being in the banking hall, you could get angry. You've not been attended to. The environment that is created in some of the financial institutions and the banking halls that we have in those institutions, the environment that is created is not one that allows you to relax. It's one that just makes you apprehensive. It makes you upset for no reason. Let's understand how psychological that is. They do not create an environment that allows you to come and want to coordinate and behave yourself, and because you come in, you see people standing everywhere, moving up and down. It's not organized, lines, people on queues, and I've been on queues on end. Some people tell you I've been here since 7 a.m. And there I was, just quiet, observing, looking. And then to make it worse, the staff of the banks, not all of them, at least for the one I went to, I noticed about two, three who were very friendly, very organized in how they would speak with the customers, and you would see the difference, because the customers were now eager to speak with those ones more than they were with other staff. There were those staff that would not even tell you anything. They don't care. I don't know how well the banks educate their staff on how to respond and handle customers, because some of them, the face in which they put up when they talk to you could get you upset. And if you are not one who is of very high moral standard, you just might get upset. There are some of them, the tone in which they speak with you is even worse. You could really lose your mind. And add that to the fact that the customer has been standing for hours, and then somebody comes and says something, and in that standing, the guy has been standing there arguing his spot because one person came and said, I was here before. There's that pressure. That's already that apprehensiveness already, and then you come and then you speak to the customer in one crazy manner, or you cannot properly explain to the customer why there's a delay. It's sickening. I saw it, and I was really saying, how many years ago, and we still are doing this same, we're still in this same situation. Like, we haven't found a way to improve on our activities in the banking halls. Then we have a problem. And so, is it even possible that these banks are not doing what they ought to do with regards to the funds in their ATMs and etc., so that, or to even make the process seamless and faster in the banking halls so people can have access to cash? Many people would just not want to even go to the bank because they would start thinking about the stress that they would go through if they go to the banking hall. After the break, we'll hear from the ASBIFI, the Deputy National President, and then we'll take your calls. Stay with us. Nigeria Info, good morning. The conversation continues on the Morning Crossfire. I know we had a lot of commercials, but yeah, we have to also serve you in that area. Quickly, we'll go to the phone lines. What do you prefer? Which do you prefer, cash or cashless? You heard from Mr. Ese Ogene, who's a banker here in the state. And he's giving some of his perspective as to why we have the cash scarcity situation. We're going to go beyond him and also hear from the ASPIFI national president, who also in an interview gave insight into the situation. But first, let's take a few calls. 0817 923 0007. 0817 923 0007. You can also call 0817 0002. Any of these numbers gives you access to us, and let's get your contribution. How have you been managing with the cash situation? One, two. How accessible have you as the ATM of your financial institution been lately? Has it been easily accessible? Have you been able to use the ATMs of whichever bank you are operating or working with, or doing your business with? Eberi and Rumomasi, let's start with you. Good morning. Good morning, Eberi. Morning, yes, good morning.
I am Eberi calling from Rumomasi.
Go on.
Okay, for me, I prefer the cashless situation. Because when we look at our society, it's like that is where the trend is going to. Most of the transactions I do with my customers, most of them don't worry about cash, just transfer. Hello? So most of the customers, they don't worry about cash. So the only place where a person may have little challenges, maybe in cases of all these bosses, commuter bosses. So for me, the cashless policy is gradually taking over the situation of cash. So for me, I like it.
So you think
I've not had any stress in my transaction.
So are you among those that believe? Okay, Barry. So are you among those that believe that, well, what we are seeing now is the CBN trying to implement the cashless policy?
I didn't get you very well.
All right, Barry, thank you very much. From what you said, clearly you are among those that see what's happening as a way of implementing the cashless policy. That's the question I was asking. Muriel in Okrika, good morning.
Hi, Ifemi, good morning.
Yes, good morning.
Ifemi, you must be one of the lucky ones, if for over a year you've not been to the bank.
Oh, close to 10 years. I've always done my transactions online.
Ifemi,
yes.
Those that are sick have accounts. Those are with terminal illness, they have accounts too. And when they go to the bank to rectify one or two things, there are no seats in the back. That is the most annoying. You don't stand. The bank should try and provide space inside the bank for customers to sit inside and filled up. Then they check. Then those should sit outside and wait. When one or two is empty, then they send enough seats, not just one, because they don't have very few seats. Up to those maybe 5 or 6 people sit, and then you have up to 2 people in the bank. It is so annoying. Then that aside, you hear me? It as if it's just a river said that we're trust me, you're saying them all over the country, but it is weak in river said. I don't know why. People go to a bar, you hear me? POS agents, they go to a bar to get cash as much as they want in different banks, then come back to River State to do their transactions. Why is cash so difficult to have in River State banks? It is intentionally, hear me? This is not annoying. This is the inside people that we're experiencing this thing. It's coming again. The thing we always experience. So I don't know. The CBN told us that we should report ATM, only ATM.
Yes.
That,
it's not dispensing.
We should report it, and I don't know what they want to do with it, or maybe they want to close it down, or they want to do it. But you see me, even if we take the banks, the ATM don't have cards. They just do very few. And why will you be limited if you're not banking with that bank? If you can just withdraw only 20,000 or 5,000 thereabouts, why can't you get as much? Okay, there are so much to say. It is painful what banks are doing, to us in this country. You will put money in your bank. things they need to do to fix it. You see me?
All right,
Honestly,
Miriam.
when the guy Tega was talking, I didn't really get anything out of it. You see me? The reasons why there was nothing. He wasn't saying anything tangible to me. Honestly, but there are so many things that are wrong that they need to fix.
All right, let's
Thank
go
you,
to
Tony.
Kurt in Uniport. Kurt, good morning.
Yeah, good morning, my brother.
Yeah, go on, please.
Yeah, I am one of those people who believe that this is a way that CBN want to implement a cashless policy fully. Because if it is not so, if the demand is higher, the supply will also be higher. I remember that this is not a product to take and eat it up. It's a note that I take, I pass it to another person pass to another person. If it is not cashless policy, why the note is not circulating? Why is not regulating? Because all that years we to have Christmas, we haven't never short of cash until when they produce this cashless policy that's not working. So that is my question to CPN.
All right. JJ and Rumigbo, good morning. Oh, we lost the call from JJ. I told us that we're going to hear from the ASBIFI national president. And yes, that would, because in an interview, he also said a few things about the cashless, the cash scarcity problem. Let's first go to Irebe, where Obina is on the line. Obina, good morning.
Yes, good morning to you, Ifemi Andrew.
All right, Obina.
Yes, what we are experiencing now, I don't think that this is the first time we are having this type of experience. I can remember the time of MFL. The CBN was telling us that it's because of Naira redesign and so many other stories. But I have been wondering, it has been in the life of an experience of many Nigerians that during Christmas or festive seasons like this, you will either be having the scarcity of fuel, PMS, or scarcity of Naira, or even scarcity of food in the market. I don't think that it is because of the cashless policy. It is just because of the greed of some few Nigerians who want to capitalize on the, festive period to make some millions of Naira into their pockets. I put it to you that by January, February, you will not see this kind of Naira scarcity again. Or let's assume that the federal government will postpone the Christmas to April. You will never see this cash scarcity again. It is greed that is disturbing Nigerians. That is why we are seeing all these scarcities here and there.
All right, Obina.
That is my take.
Thank you. He says greed. All right, let's hear what the national president of ASBIFI, Olusoji Oluwole, said in an interview about this cash scarcity.
Across the counter and in all bank ATMs. The fact is that banks get cash from CBN and their retail customers, but the demand continues to outweigh the supply that banks receive from these supplies, from the CBN and from the retailers. Now, if we do a simple math here, every bank branch in Nigeria requires roughly about 20 million naira just for ATMs, and we're not even talking about the use across the counter. So what it translates is that assuming a bank has 20 branches in a state, the minimum that one bank branch will require is about 400 million naira. That is quite a lot of money when you now multiply it by the number of branches in the states and number of banks in Nigeria in general. Now, let's go back to the supply part of it. I mentioned earlier that banks depend on the CBN and retailers. Now, the part of retailers, it seems as if the retailers themselves have seen an opportunity in the POS business. So they have either become POS operators themselves or prefer to supply cash to the POS operators rather than take them to banks.
So I think that's the point I wanted us to note from one thing he said, and I think it goes with what Obina had said. Greed coming in, because you now have some people who would rather want to do business from the situation, and that is contributing to the scarcity we have. And he also said something quite interesting, which is the fact that insinuating on the fact that banks might not be getting enough cash from the CBN. It is what the CBN gives that they will give out. And is the CBN giving as much as it should? That's a big question. We'll take one more call, and that will be from Braid in OGRA. Braid, good morning.
Yeah, FEMA, good morning.
Yeah.
Compliment of the season.
Yeah, it's go on, Braid.
Yes, from what he said, I don't really subscribe to that idea. Well, what put us to this position where we are today? We have the old Naira, we have the new Naira, and yet he's telling us that it's because the money the business people are not lodging their money, they are using it for POS. That is why we are having a scarcity. I said no. The banks and the CBN, they are hoarding the money. They are there to suffer Nigerians. Tell me, where we were having the old Naira and new Naira also had added to it, are there not going to be more surplus? What are they trying to tell Nigerians? If our ATM could not dispense cash, POS, if you go, you need 200,000, they will give to you. And they are telling us that because of the business communities are not reloading their money. I don't think so. Even if those money from the business people that is circulating and the banks bring out their own, there should be more surplus.
All right, Braid, we have to interrupt you there. I'll get your point. Thank you very much. But this is how we dread the curtain. I know we couldn't take much call due to the commercials we have. We still have more commercials to take at the moment. So stay with us. My name is Ifeemi Andrew. Good morning.